Hey Merwin, thanks so much for coming on this call and giving a testimonial or sharing your experience in our program. How are you, mate?
G'day, Greg. Yeah, really good. Thanks, mate. How about
Awesome.
yourself?
Yeah, good, good.
That's good.
Look, could you just share with everybody and the people that are watching this video just a little bit about yourself, who you are and what you do?
Yeah, sure. I am currently a digital marketing manager. I work at one of the biggest pharmaceutical companies in the Southern Hemisphere, actually. So, been in digital marketing for since I got out of uni and absolutely love it, and sort of made my way into healthcare right now.
Awesome, awesome. And I think we started working together about 6 months ago. So can you please share with us what was going on for you before you reached out and started working with us? If you can share a little bit about where you were at.
Yeah, sure. I was probably at my worst, I suppose, and at my turning point. So essentially, what I was going through at the time was um, a whole lot of anxiety, a whole lot of stress, and confusion. I didn't know what was going on with me. I had gone to psychologists and gotten a bit of relief from them, a bit of help, but then there was no real, I suppose, real change in the long term. There was only immediate change, but then it will sort of just all come back. And what I started to do was essentially I was increasingly growing in terms of anxiety and stress and pain,
Okay, right.
and I basically started to medicate. So, uh, you know,
Self-medicate.
exactly, yeah, through alcohol in particular, and I had gone from sort of binge drinking every weekend to sort of having upwards of a bottle of wine or two bottles of wines a day, and then binge drinking on the weekends.
Yeah.
And my turning point really came when um, I had an absolute blackout drunk night. And considering the place we were at, where wasn't the actual time or place to get blackout drunk, but it happened anyway. And consequently, I sort of woke up from that and heard the stories that came out of it from my fiance, from my friends, and I completely felt like absolute crap the following day. And that's when it sort of hit me that I needed someone else and I needed to find help and I needed someone that could relate to my story as well. And that sort of led me down the track of finding potentially a coach. And I've heard of coaches previously, and I've heard of people getting really good results with coaches, but I just needed to find someone that sort of fit my my story and someone that had been there and done that before and figured out how to get out of it.
Yeah, 100%. So I'm privileged that you chose us, right? So tell us how was our program? Like you said that you'd been to counselors, you'd spoke to psychologists before. It helped a little bit, but it didn't give you long-term change. It really didn't change your life, right? So how did you find our program, or tell us what you
Yeah,
went?
definitely. So I think from the get go, from after session one, it was night and day. So um, it's hard to believe, but I sort of went in and I gave it all I had, and I was open to anything because I was just ready for it. I was just so ready to change. And the remarkable thing was, I thought, maybe I'll see some change, you know, at the end of the program, at the end of 12 sessions. But from the get go, from day dot, after we did that initial first session where I think we cleared, maybe it was my mum, I think, um, my perception of everything started to change just overnight. The feelings of dread and stress and guilt and anxiety had just gone away. Um, and to the point where I could sort of get my head above water instead of having to sort of feel like I'm sinking all the time. and sort of feeling stuck, I suppose, and then getting into that perpetual negative loop. Yeah. So literally from day dot, I had the initial session. I started to see changes almost immediately. When the second one came around, it started to get better, and then it just started to sort of snowball. Every time I would come out of a session with yourself or Tracy, I would just get better and better and better until the time I got to the 12th and final session with Tracy. From the first to the very last session, it's just completely changed my life. It's amazing what you guys have done, and really I'm super grateful that I've found you guys. But yeah, you've changed my life completely.
Yeah, you've done amazing, man. You're like a completely different person. Well, you are becoming the best version of yourself, right? And I'm so glad you said that, because you came in with the intentions, open-minded, and give it all. So that is why you've had such a massive transformation, is because you put the intention into it as well. So that's why you got big changes. So we can't take all the credit. The students definitely have to do the work. So you've completely changed every area of your life within a 4-month period, right? So what's life like now? Like, what's
different? Yeah, it's amazing. It's I feel like a weight's lifted off my shoulder, and the cloud that was hanging over my head is gone. I was in a state of complete confusion all the time. Didn't know how to manage my anger. Didn't know how to relate to stress. So little things that would pop up would just compound and compound and compound to the point where I would just explode, essentially. My relationship with my fiance has improved like 100-fold. My work life has improved again 100 or even more. I like literally I went from thinking I was going to lose my job because of the fact that I wasn't performing, because I was stuck in my head all the time and I was constantly worried about things that weren't going to happen. I was constantly worried and stressed about things that had initially popped up that weren't even problems to begin with. And then being told to sort of, from my boss, to pull my head in, and then literally fast forwarding only about a month, or less than a month, maybe a 2 or 3 week period, to being on top of my game and to be performing at the highest level I could possibly be, to have unlimited energy and to be focused all the time, to be on the ball and to start to create exactly what I wanted from my work life. I went from literally thinking I was going to get fired to being a productive employee, as well as sort of making change as well. So presenting to higher level management on my strategies, and then getting approval, and sort of just picking up from there and kicking goals.
Yeah, you've done amazing. And also, you haven't touched a drop of alcohol since the start of the program, right?
Exactly right. Yes. So it's I've seen a huge benefit in that, and I don't feel like I need it anymore, which is great. And I thought I would be in a position where I would be, you know, tempted to sort of slip back into drinking excessively, or even drinking at all, but I haven't really been in that position, which is awesome. It's kind of liberating in a way, because of the fact that I've been a drinker since I was probably about 16, and I'm 34 now. So I haven't had a drink in about 6 months. So, which is awesome. And that's the longest I've been, I think, in a very long, since I've turned 18. So yeah, unreal.
Awesome. And just lastly, for other people that are watching this video, predominantly other men, what would you say to them if they're considering our program but maybe not quite sure whether they should take the step? What's your advice for them?
I think initially it would be just go for it. you've really got nothing to lose. And thinking to where I was before I started the program, I was in a really, really dark place. And honestly, I did not think I was going to make it out of it. And I sort of trusted my gut and trusted my intuition, and then found yourself and resonated with everything that you've been doing and exactly what you've been through, and then realized that there is a way out of it. And I had to sort of take that leap and just jump into it. And honestly, I've never had, like, thinking back now, I wish I'd done it sooner. But yeah, it's been an amazing ride, and particularly in the last 5 months of the program. And really just I sort of think back and think, what if I hadn't done it? And my life would be completely different. I can tell you that, and I'm so glad I did. And I took that first step and rang you and had a good, I think it was initially like supposed to be a 15-minute chat, but you took your time and we spoke for about half an hour, 40 minutes. And really that was it. That was my turning point. And I really wanted to get stuck in afterwards. Yeah.
Awesome. I'm so glad you made the decision. It's so good to see you completely change your life, and your energy's so high, you're so passionate, and every area of your life, you're just absolutely kicking goals, right? You're doing so well.
Absolutely, mate. Yeah. It feels great, actually. Like, it hasn't, I haven't been in this situation for a very, very long time, probably about, 10 years or so. And it feels amazing. And it feels like I'm literally floating, and it's almost surreal that I feel this good. I didn't know I'd actually get to this point. So yeah, it's been amazing. It's amazing.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Man, thanks so much for sharing that, right? I'm sure this is going to really help other men who feel a bit stuck and to make the decision to take the first step, right? So really appreciate your time, mate, and we'll catch up again soon.
Cheers, Greg.